21-year-old Londoner has been killed in Syria fighting for ISIS. At least that's according to social media. He's Abu Abdullah al-Habashi. And he's actually someone who's featured on this programme. Our reporter, Secunda Kobane, had been communicating with him and is with me. Tell us a little about him, Secunda.
Well, he calls himself Abu Abdullah al-Habashi, or he started calling himself that after having joined ISIS. But I've learned that his real name is Yaqub, and that he grew up in North London in a British Eritrean family, and that he converted to Islam at the age of 16 and then went on to study the religion in Yemen and Mauritania. Now, in the past day or so, there have been tweets from social media accounts associated with ISIS, and I've also spoken to ISIS sources who say that he died in the last week or so in the Syria border town of Kobane, apparently in a US airstrike. We can't confirm that independently, and we haven't been able to contact his family for a comment, but one of his last social media postings, he seems to kind of relish the prospect of dying fighting in Kobane. This is what he wrote. He said, "Many Somali brothers from the West are gaining martyrdom in Kobane. Pray that I'm the first Eritrean. Me and the brothers are going on a holiday." In other words, talking about going to Kobane there. And I've actually interviewed him, as you say, back in August. And he, at that stage, told me he was one of the few British ISIS fighters to be fighting in both Syria and also in Iraq. And he's also appeared in a number of ISIS propaganda videos in the past few months.
I'm from the UK. My name is Abu Abdullah al-Habashi. I don't think there's anything better than living in the land of Khilafah. The rights, and you're not living under oppression. You're not living under dhulm. We don't need any democracy, we don't need any communism, we don't need anything like that. All we need is Sharia.
Well, he told me when I spoke to him that he had no regrets about joining ISIS, but he did also tell me that his family had been in touch with him to try and persuade him to come back to Britain. He said, in his words, he said that his family considered him crazy. And around 2 weeks ago, I actually spoke to a family friend of his who, before this news emerged, who said that his mother had been totally devastated by the fact that her son had joined ISIS.
He is not the only one that we've had reports of being killed in the last 24 hours.
Yes, that's right. There have also been reports that a British man known by the nom de guerre of Abu Darda, who I can reveal is a 20-year-old British Somali man from West London, was also reportedly killed seemingly in the same incident as Yaqub, although again we can't independently confirm that. What I can reveal about this man, though, is that he travelled out to Syria in December last year, flying from Britain to Turkey en route to Syria, and that he was questioned by British counter-terrorism police at a British airport. And they asked him the purpose of his trip, but they were satisfied and released him and let him go on to Turkey, and eventually, obviously, from there he went on to Syria. I spoke to the police tonight, and they said, well, they can't comment on individual cases, but that when there's insufficient evidence, they can't make an arrest.
The total numbers of deaths, there are quite a few of them, aren't there?
Well, that's right. I mean, if these two reports are indeed true, it would take the total number of cases that we know around to be around 27. That number's been increasing with the airstrikes.
Secunda, thanks very much indeed.